Hello, vinyl community. Well, the last couple days we've been blasted by 114-degree weather here in Riverside, California. And today we're supposed to get a little bit of a reprieve in the low 100s. Whew, my goodness. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. Yeah, cheers. Whew, I have been preparing for this video for a long time. Yes, so I actually have the entire discography of, well, the entire studio album discography of Placebo on vinyl. I touched on this a while back in a live video, and at that time I was missing one, but I have since procured that one, so now I have all the studio albums. So I'm very, very pleased. Yeah, so basically, for those that don't know, Placebo was formed in 1994 in London, and yet only one of their members is British. So basically, they're made up of Brian Malco on vocals and sort of multi-instrumentalist. Stefan Olsdahl, also multi-instrumentalist. I believe Brian is from, I want to say Scotland. And Stefan is, I believe, from Sweden. And then on drums, and the one British member of the band, Steve Hewitt on drums. But the drums was kind of the revolving door of the band. Malco and Alsdale were the steady members. And then on drums, it went from Steve Hewitt to Robert Schultzberg, back to Hewitt, and then finally to Steve Forrest. Yeah, so they're basically neo-glam, which, for those that aren't familiar, it's an offshoot of Britpop. Also, punk revival, pop punk, and Britpop a little bit. I could see some of their songs kind of dipping into Britpop. And Britpop apparently, and I could be wrong, correct me if I am, but I believe Britpop was actually started by Suede. Very interesting. Some bands that they're similar to that I can definitely hear. Supergrass, Harvey Danger, Suede, and James. Artists that they're influenced by include Jane's Addiction, the Pixies, Morrissey, Sweet, Bauhaus, David Bowie, The Cure, and even Radiohead. So that might be why I like them. And some of the moods that are like recurring moods with them, they're definitely a moody band. So some of those moods would be like cynical, exuberant, earnest, snide, reflective, dramatic, brash, provocative, energetic, and rowdy. So yeah. And I would even throw like melancholy in there. There's some definitely some melancholy going on there. All right, so let's get to the albums. You want to see the vinyl, right? All right, so this was actually the first one in my collection. I hopped on it years ago when I think it dipped down on Amazon to like $10 or $11 brand new. And I was all over it. So that is their self-titled debut from 1996. Very minimalist interior. A tiny little photo of the band there. There's the back. It's one of these, I hate this kind, where the album comes out the middle, but there you see the original inner sleeve, And it just has credits on the back. And the vinyl, and there you see the rather plain label. Kind of minimalist design, and I hate these that open in the middle like that. It's just a pain. All right, so let's kind of go through it a little bit. The opening track, "Come Home," is an upbeat rocker. It's definitely a good opening track, and it's pretty catchy. Then we have "Teenage Angst," which is mid-tempo and has great lyrics. I'm not going to go through all the songs, just kind of highlights on all of these albums. Otherwise, that's going to take all day. "Hang On To Your IQ" is down-tempo, closest to Britpop, I would say. Again, I could be wrong, but it gives me that feel. I mean, as much as this band does, because they really kind of don't. And it's another catchy song. All right, the first one that really grabbed me was the first track on side 2, "Nancy Boy." This one is punk rock. It has punchy vocals, and it's another catchy song. Then to contrast that, the very next track, "I Know," is down-tempo, has great vocals, great lyrics, and then it kicks into a lower mid-tempo rocker featuring Didgeridoo. Yeah. I love that. Another good one is "Bruce Pristine," another punk rock song, catchy. Another favorite on the album is "Lady of the Flowers." It's down-tempo with plaintive vocals. And the last track, "Swallow," it's definitely a throwaway track. Yeah, it just with spoken word, essentially. Kind of disappointing way to end an album. But as far as a debut album, this is pretty damn good. I still recommend it. All right, so in 1998, we have their follow-up, "Without You, I'm Nothing." And this is the last one that I procured. Let me actually show it to you. I like these gatefolds with the big pictures like that. I think that's good use of gatefolds. Then a custom inner sleeve. Basically just large artwork. I'm going to try and remember to show you all the labels, although they're pretty unappealing. Just red, but... Alright, so on this one, another great start to an album. The song "Pure Morning." It's kind of lower mid-tempo, featuring great vocals and great lyrics. The next one I'll talk about is "You Don't Care About Us." It's upbeat, and this is another one that kind of makes me think of Britpop. It's catchy, and it's rockin', so I like that one. Another good one is "Allergic." This one is a mid-tempo rocker, and it has great vocals. The first really good song on the album is "The Crawl," the first song on side 2 or side B. It's mellow, fantastic vocals, and you definitely get that melancholy sound. All right, probably my second or third favorite song, probably my second favorite song on the album is "Every You, Every Me." Probably my second favorite song on the album. A mid-tempo rocker with fantastic lyrics, great vocals, kind of a sing-along and very catchy. Maybe my third favorite song on the album is "My Sweet Prince." On this one, it's another mellow one. I think I have a tendency to go for their mellow songs. Fantastic vocals, plaintive and definitely melancholy. Another good one is Scared of Girls, the second to last track. It's a rocker, has a fantastic beat, great vocals, great lyrics. And my favorite song on the album is Burger Queen, the closing track. Mellow, dreamy guitars, great vocals, fantastic lyrics, and you get that melancholy again. Yeah, definitely a good sophomore effort. All right, so the third one from 2000, we have Black Market Music. Loving these gatefolds. I love that. That's awesome. That is awesome. And inner sleeve with the lyrics and credits. Please don't be a red label. Okay, that one's a little bit different. Still nothing to write home about, but you know. Yeah, so this one from 2000, the opening track, they do well with their opening tracks on most of their albums. So this has another great opener, the song Taste in Men. A rocker with a great beat. Then let's skip down to Special K. That's mid-tempo, has a catchy riff, which is actually kind of echoed in the vocals. And it kicks into an upbeat rocker. So that's pretty cool. The next track is Spite and Malice. That one, another mid-tempo with a great rolling beat. And it actually features rap by Justin Warfield from Dream Club and a band I'm familiar with. And at one point was one of my favorite bands, She Wants Revenge. So that's interesting. But overall, you know, it's a good song. It's one of the better songs on the album, but still, one would hope for more. I'm not entirely sold on the fact of rap in a Placebo song. I'll leave it at that. Probably the best song on the album is the last song on side A, which is Blue American. So it's mellow, effective use of piano, has great vocals, and fantastic lyrics, including the lines, "I wrote this novel just for you. That's why it's vulgar. That's why it's blue." I love that. Oh, man. There will be a few others that I quote the lyrics on, but we'll skip down to the second track on side B, a commercial for Levi, which is, it has a lighthearted sound, but is contrasted by the lyrics, which includes the plea of "please don't die." I don't know that I would say that this is as good as the first two albums, but it's still a good album. I love all their albums, don't get me wrong, but some are better than others. All right, so on to album 4. So Sleeping with Ghosts from 2003. My least favorite album by them. Well, let's take a look at it. Perhaps the best thing going for it is the artwork. Yeah. Love the gatefolds on these. A very plain back. We do have a very plain inner sleeve there. And let's check that label. Very plain label. Yeah, so the opening track, Bulletproof Cupid. It's instrumental and it's rocking, but at not even 2.5 minutes, it kind of overstays its welcome. Because it's essentially just an intro, and for an intro to go on for almost 2.5 minutes, yeah. But then we have Well, actually, it goes a few songs before it gets to another one that stands out for me, which is the fifth song on side A, The Bitter End, which is upbeat, bass heavy, and has angst and aggression. So that one's a really good one. Oh, the last track on side A is it's kind of funny that it was named this. It's called Something Rotten, and it's the only Placebo song I do not like. It just sounds like molasses. Honestly, it has a bad vocal performance. I don't know what he was trying to do on this song, and it was just uninspired. Yeah, if I could skip that, I would. Well, actually, you can skip it because it's second to last, so just take it off before. Yeah. But then on the second track on side B is actually my favorite song on the album, Special Needs. It's mid-tempo, very catchy, great lyrics, great vocals, and melancholy. Another good one is the 10th song, Second Sight, which is upbeat, rockin', and has a punk attitude. And then the last one is actually the closing track, Centerfolds. Another down-tempo one, melancholy. You see, it's a recurring theme. Kind of a minimalist composition, and it features the piano, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, if you're going to avoid one of their albums, this would be the one to avoid, honestly. It's not a bad album, it's just not very good. And then they follow it up with what I think is their best album. Meds. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Again, this probably has the best artwork on it. Even with the minimalist back cover there. Then have their faces there, and let me see if I can cover some of this. Yeah. So, oh my goodness. And now this is where I talk about my wife again. So, Placebo is one of her favorite bands, and this is the album that she listens to again and again and again. And as a result, I heard it again and again and again, and it holds up very well. So, yeah. So this one is from 2006, and worth noting is this is their first album to actually make it onto the Billboard Top 200. It only made it to 180 on April 21st, 2006, and it only stayed on the chart for 1 week, but nevertheless, they had their brush with mainstream fame. So the opening track, oh man, Meds, but it's upbeat, catchy, has lots of angst, and it builds up to a climax, then releases into just vocals and guitar. I love that song, and yet it's not the best song on that album. The next one, Infrared, that's another good track, rockin' song with great lyrics. Probably, yeah, I think my favorite song on the album is actually Follow the Cops Back Home. Oh my goodness. That song is down-tempo, melancholy, has fantastic lyrics, amazing vocals, and it features the catchy line, "I'm medicated, how are you?" Oh, I love that. Yeah. Great line, great line. Another amazing track. Maybe my second or third favorite. Pierrot the Clown. Down-tempo, melancholy, bittersweet, fantastic lyrics, great vocals, and has a very intimate feel to it. Another good one is Broken Promise, which starts quiet and then explodes. And it does feature Michael Stipe from REM, but he doesn't really sound like himself. If you were just to hear it, I don't think you would identify it as Michael Stipe. But the song is intense and angry. Yeah. Another good one is In the Cold Light of Morning. Down-tempo, melancholy. Great lyrics. Including the line, "A cock in a dildo's disguise." Yeah. And then probably my third favorite song on the album would be "Song to Say Goodbye." It's upbeat, rockin', angry, has great lyrics, and it includes perhaps one of the greatest insults ever devised in the lyrics. "You are one of God's mistakes, you crying, tragic waste of skin." Use it sometime. Oh my goodness, yeah. So, oh, love it, love it, love it. Yeah. Their second to last album is Battle for the Sun from 2009. This one also made it onto the Billboard 200. It hit 51, but and that was on June 26, 2009. Again, it was only on the chart for 1 week. So I just left the shrink on there. Plus, I think, I could be wrong. No, yeah, the shrink is what has this sticker on it. Otherwise, it would not have that writing. So, yeah, I thought it was a good idea to leave that on there. I want to show you the inner stuff. All right, so this one has one of the better inner sleeves. Very cool. Sorry I'm not taking them out all the way, but yeah. And just, yeah, black labels. And yeah, it's still effective. You know, it fits the album artwork, so, you know, it's forgivable. All right, so on this one, the opening track, Kitty Litter, although I wouldn't say it's necessarily a great opening track, it's rockin', and it has a kind of a funny and effective vibrato going on in the vocals, with good lyrics, and it's pretty rowdy. Then we have For What It's Worth, which is upbeat, rockin', and catchy. The first really good song on the album is Bright Lights. It has this driving beat and great vocals. This album is definitely stronger on the second side. Speak in Tongues is a good one, mid-tempo, and it kicks into upbeat, and it has some angst. Then we have The Never Ending Why, which is upbeat. That's one of my favorite songs on the album, actually. Upbeat with a thumping beat and great lyrics, and it's catchy. They have a lot of catchy songs. Julian, the only thing really worth noting about it is it features the line, "No one here gets out alive," which as you know, a big fan of the Doors. That's a Doors line, but I don't know that it's necessarily a nod to them, but anyway. Then we have Happy You're Gone, which is mid-tempo, builds to upbeat, has some angst and some melancholy. Another one of the better tracks is Breathe Underwater, which is upbeat, rowdy, and has great lyrics. And then the closing track, Kings of Medicine, another one of my favorites, mid-tempo, great lyrics, and actually features nice use of horns. So that's kind of a little bit of a departure for them. So a good album. It probably wouldn't make their top 3 though, but a good album, good listen. Now this one, their last album, I would dare say that it does make their top 3. Maybe even their second best album. Maybe. Although Without You I'm Nothing, that one's pretty good too. But this one, I had a hard time like picking tracks I was going to skip and not talk about. So this is Loud Like Love. I think this was the second one I added to my collection. This one was from 2013, and this one on the Billboard 200 made it to 98 on October 4th, 2013, and it stayed 1 week. And again, it's not a gatefold. It's the only used one I have in my collection. All the others were brand new. Pretty good album artwork, and I'm not remembering what the inner sleeve is like. Pretty good. Yeah. This has an absolutely killer opening track. Loud Like Love. It's amazing, especially when the music kicks in. It's one of those that starts out kind of a little, for lack of a better word, a little minimalist, and then just kicks in. Has great vocals. It's catchy, upbeat, and rockin'. Scene of the Crime is a good one. It's kind of a different sound for them, and it features just these wailing vocals, and it has kind of a gritty electronic sound. Too Many Friends. That's another good one. Upper mid-tempo rocker with great lyrics, and it's catchy. Hold On to Me, another good one. Down tempo, it has kind of an orchestral break, and then maybe about a third of the song is spoken word, but it's much more effective here than it was on that other one that I mentioned. The first, what I consider to be definitely one of the better tracks, is Exit Wounds. Kind of minimalist, almost an industrial rhythm and down tempo, but then it kicks into a mid-tempo rocker, and it has great vocals, which are kind of plaintive. Another good one is Purify, upbeat, rockin', great rhythm, great vocals, and it features some of the vibrato that he uses periodically. My favorite song on the album is Begin the End. A down tempo with great vocals, a rolling rhythm, and you have the melancholy again. And then another one of the better tracks is the last one, Bosco. And it's kind of like a simple ballad, but it has great vocals, great lyrics. It has some strings that build to a crescendo. And then a mid-tempo beat kicks in. And overall, the sound is kind of bittersweet. And, yeah. Woo! There you go. So, I do want to say that They have a few B-side albums, or at least a couple B-side albums. They have a retrospective, which I think has one new song on it. I think Jesus' Son. And the one I really need on vinyl is, I guess it's considered a compilation, as opposed to a studio album, Covers, which has their cover songs. And Kate Bush fans are not gonna like me saying this, but Placebo has the best version of Running Up That Hill. Yeah, amazing. Anyway, I love this band. They're easily in my top 20 bands. I need to go through and figure out, what my favorite bands are. But I definitely within the top 20, possibly just outside of the top 10. Yeah. Well, if you stuck with me, thank you so much. Yeah. Here's to slightly cooler weather. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Cheers.